G'day and welcome. IP time again. In the first part of this series, I talked about what happens to clever ideas in Aotearoa once the paper is published and the prototype finally works. We saw how stop-start policy, thin capability, and misaligned incentives create a missing engine between IP and real-world ventures. The second part is about what we could build instead. The gap between clever ideas and impact is not uniquely ours. Many countries started where we are now, exporting raw materials and importing most of the finished value. Over time, some of them made a different set of choices. Israel, for example, decided to treat commercialization capability as critical infrastructure. It invested in tech transfer teams, created straightforward pathways from research organizations into companies, and made it normal, not exceptional, for good science to spin out into ventures. The people doing that bridging work were funded, trusted, and able to build relationships over time. The United States took another route through the Bayh-Dole Act, which gave universities and researchers a clear stake in the IP they generated. That clarity helped unlock tech transfer offices, entrepreneurship centres, and whole ecosystems where, from grant to company, became a visible, repeatable path rather than a heroic exception. Across parts of Europe, we see yet another variation. Focused clusters where ideas, people, and capital can bump into each other easily rather than living in separate silos. Regions that specialize connect the universities, companies, and communities and build patient capital around that mix. So, what might that mean in the way of lessons for New Zealand? First, they suggest that commercialization capability is not a side project. It is core infrastructure, just as important as the labs themselves. That means stable funding for tech transfer offices and incubators, support for people who can wear both research and commercial hats, and space for them to build trust with researchers and investors. Second, they point towards the value of a simple, fair, national framework for IP and returns. Researchers, institutions, investors, and communities all need to know how value will be shared before they commit serious time and energy. Clarity does not remove all tension, but it makes good faith partnership easier. Third, they remind us that money is necessary but not sufficient. Deep tech ventures, climate solutions, and new health technologies need patient capital and room to learn. Quick win funding cycles can undermine exactly the kind of long-term work we say we want. Fourth, they highlight the power of deliberate clusters. For us, that might mean leaning into places where capability already exists, such as medtech around Auckland, agri-tech in the regions, digital innovation in hubs across the motu, and then building stronger connections with iwi, communities, and international partners. Above all, we have the chance to design this system with people at the centre. For researchers, that could mean clearer options from staying in academia with strong industry partnerships to stepping fully into founder life with proper support. For students and early career professionals, it could mean seeing real innovation careers in front of them, not feeling they have to choose between pure research and selling out. For communities, especially Māori and Pacific communities, it could mean more ventures grounded in their own knowledge systems, with governance and benefit sharing arrangements that reflect that. The risk of doing nothing is familiar. We keep training brilliant people who feel they have to leave or park their best ideas to see them reach the world. Their departure quietly erodes our sense of who we could be. The alternative is harder in the short term, but much more hopeful. We can choose to treat IP to impact as a system to be designed, not a lucky accident. We can start small, learn fast, and build something that reflects New Zealand's scale, our treaty commitments, and our desire for a fairer, more regenerative economy. None of this will transform the country in a single budget cycle, but over time, it could give us a very different story to tell, one where ideas grow into companies, jobs, and solutions that matter here. That feels like a future worth building towards. Well, thanks for sticking with this. If you'd like to dive deeper, the full articles are linked below. Love to hear what you see from your side of the system. Cheers. See you back here soon. Okay, goodbye.